Hey, Blonde Gamer here with the second of the 3 Sega FV games I'm reviewing, Tomcat Alley.
Unlike the stupidity that was Prize Fighter, Tomcat Alley was actually developed by the Code Monkeys, according to Wikipedia. Well, that's sort of true. The manual does credit them as the company that programmed the game, but the intro credits show that it's an association by Stargate Films.
Okay, not really. But still.
Wait, a Stargame production? Okay, are Stargate Films and Stargame Productions the same or somehow related? It also doesn't help that the game is copyrighted by Stargate Productions, according to the back of the case.
Make up your minds on who made the game! It's like they purposely called themselves 3 different companies just so that internet reviewers 15 years later won't be able to find definitive evidence and confuse the hell out of them.
In any case, I believe that Star Whatever Films and or Productions obviously filmed all of the FMV footage while the Code Monkeys programmed the game itself. In fact, the Code Monkeys actually did make a couple other Sega CD games, and a lot of other games too throughout the years, and are still making games to this day, which can't be said for digital pictures. It should also be noted that this was the first full-screen FMV game on the Sega CD, though it's basically the equivalent of watching a low-quality YouTube video in full screen. Also, this game was ported to the PC later on with improved video quality. So back to the intro, we see some guy enter some secret area.
Hey, kid.
Really? Kid? Do all Sega CD FMV games have you play as some nondescript guy from a point of view as the kid in an attempt to immerse you? Well, after grabbing the cat for some reason, he goes to the fiberglass base and... Hey, wait, where's the cat he grabbed in his sunglasses for that matter? Who cares about consistency? This is full motion video! After going into the elevator, we just go to the title after that. Well, at least it's nice to see an actual title screen with the select menu instead of going straight to the game like other FMV games. It's almost like they were trying to make this into a actual game! Besides changing the difficulty, there are really no other options to mess around with, so let's begin. The plot, if you care for one in a jet combat game, is that some Russian colonel named Alex Pavic, along with a small army of MiGs, bombers, and surface-to-air missiles, built a base in the Mexican desert with chemical weapons, and it's up to America! And their top-secret subterranean rock base to seek out and stop the forces with squads of F-14 Tomcats! Yeah, even Tom Clancy would find this far-fetched. You play as a gunner of an F-14, codenamed as Kid. Yeah, big surprise. And the smug guy from the intro is Dakota, your pilot. Both of you are in an F-14 call signed as Shadow 5. Your only other wingmen in the entire game are Ratchet and Buzz, who fly in Shadow 3.
Shouldn't we send more than 2 F-14s at once against an unknown number of hostiles? Nah, we don't have the budget to include more fighters and characters. Oh.
During the briefing of the first mission, General What's-His-Name instructs us to go and shoot down a bomber. Stock footage away! And no, I'm not kidding, they really did use stock footage in this game. Oh, and now we can see the kid in a third-person view. Albeit with the helmet down, and he talks during the missions. Which is odd considering you don't see or hear him, or you, during briefing. It's like an odd combination of a point of view and an empty shell of a person we're supposed to be. In terms of gameplay, it's pretty simplistic, which is not surprising for an FMV game. Use the B button to select waypoints, use the radio, switch missiles and bombs, use the recon camera, and countermeasures when the icons flash. A is to fire missiles, though you'll want to lock onto something before firing one, and C is to turn off and on the heads-up display. Not sure why, I guess they wanted the C button to do something. To engage fires, you select a waypoint, move the cursor to the target box on the enemy, then fire a missile once it locks on to destroy it in all of its fake special effects glory.
It's only a model.
Although half the time you'll get attacked too, and you only have 2 options to avoid death and having to start the mission all over. One is to simply go to another enemy waypoint, but doing this is literally a 50-50 chance whether you successfully escape or get blown to bits. Relying on this is always risky since it's luck-based, so you'll most likely want to use the flare chaff launcher in the bottom left corner to guarantee not getting hit. but you only have 9 countermeasures. I like how in the manual it calls it a flare chaff launcher, but in the game all you see is a missile completely missing, or Dakota doing a slight maneuver to avoid it.
Do a barrel roll!
And you'll want to try and hold on to these countermeasures, because if you run out of them and you have no waypoint to go, you're fucked. Going back to attacking, locking it on can either be really simple or annoying, as the aiming with the cursor can be awkward at first, especially since it jitters around even when you don't move it. This, along with some bogeys moving all over the place, can make it difficult to lock on at times.
Geez, quit moving around!
But since the game recycles the same encounters over and over, you'll eventually recognize them and aim accordingly to their preset patterns. However, it is possible to miss if you fire the missile while a lock-on cursor goes off the target, which means you need precise reaction time if you want to save your limited missile supply and not get attacked. Throughout the game I constantly kept missing and naturally got really pissed off at the game. But then I switched to playing the game on my TV and was able to lock on and destroy targets just fine. It turns out that I had a slight recording delay on the previous screen I was recording on, which hindered my reaction time for the game.
So because of this, I actually had to go and buy splitter cables just so I could record the game without a delay. I still don't know whether or not to thank the game for forcing me to upgrade my recording equipment.
Well, that about covers the basic game mechanics. Now on to the missions. The first mission, you just shoot down a few fighters, then the aforementioned bomber. However, you can't shoot down the bomber with your default Sidewinder missiles. You have to select the other missile type, the Phoenix radar lock-on missiles. These actually lock on to targets farther away other than Sidewinder missiles, which does switch things up a bit, but can throw you off, as the first time you encounter something like this, you realize you can't lock on and switch to your other missiles, and by the time you do this, you'll most likely fail the mission. Fortunately, all the missions follow a script, and you'll be better prepared next time. After you complete each mission, you get to save your progress!
Holy shit! You can actually save your progress in an FMV rail shooting game. I'll admit, Komagis, I did not expect competence in programming when it came to these sorts of games. And it's pretty simple too. All you have to do is just enter your initials and you just select restore from the title screen. Sorry if I'm overreacting a little, it's just that I'm not used to something decent and thoughtful in an FMV game like this.
Being able to skip pre-mission cutscenes is nice too, although you can't skip scenes during missions, but at least you can pause any time. After completing the first mission, Dakota starts a mission of his own before the next briefing.
Got a new way for you to release some of that tension.
Sexual tension, that is.